Hi, my name's Alan Murray. I'm a professor at University of California, Santa Barbara in the Department of Geography. I was the director of CURA from 2005 to 2008 and a faculty member at Ohio State from 1999 to 2008 and in the Department of Geography. Uh, CURA, the Center for Urban Regional Analysis, was particularly important for me in my career and my interests. I was asked to share a little bit about my time and what CURA meant to me, as well as some of the activities we engaged in. One thing I'd note is that early on, after I began at Ohio State, I was fortunate to get a seed grant from the Committee of Urban Affairs focused on the analysis of crime. And that subsequently led to some work with the Lima Police Department in collaboration with Bill Ackerman at our Lima campus at Ohio State. So it was really fundamental in helping me get going. I also had another uh, seed grant once CURA became a center, and it was looking at emergency warning siren coverage in the region. And what's noteworthy about that is that it helped me keep a student in our program, actually keep a student from going to a rival program, Dr. Dao Chin Tong, now at Arizona State University. And subsequently that work led to some NSF funding and really a whole slew of research activity and publications on the topic. I mean, dozens. So for me, CURA and the subsequent things that it facilitated through seed grant, interaction, and other sorts of activities was really fundamentally important in the development of my career. And I continue doing related work to those topics to this day. Um, in 2005, I became the director of CURA, and following some other noteworthy leaders. Um, and I was really pleased to continue this process and legacy of providing seed grant funding, and so helping to incubate future research. And so that part of it was really fulfilling. In terms of some particular noteworthy things, we continued and added to the tradition of generating housing transaction data in the state of Ohio, and subsequently led to some research looking at these movements, space-time movements in the state associated with housing. In addition to that, we had begun at the time some initiatives with people in the medical school, physical therapy, looking at body mass index and some of the spatial and socioeconomic sort of contributors to variability in that, as well as we had initiated before I left some work looking at biomarkers and what these were telling us and associated health implications. So I was a bit sad to leave Ohio State with many of those things going. Another thing that I was particularly happy to be involved with was at the time the Initiative in Population Research, which is now a center. And I was a part of putting together the proposal that was ultimately successful in making it a center through funding by NIH. And was at the time leading the spatial analysis component of that center. Beyond that, I would say that other elements of what was really neat about the center is that it generated a culture of people doing urban regional sorts of work and having those interests, and brought them together through various mechanisms, including seed grant funding, but also weekly seminars. And through that myself, I benefited a great deal. That interaction subsequently led to a number of interesting projects, including with the Lima Police Department, but as well looking at homelessness and homeless service provision in the Columbus area through interaction and work with the Community Shelter Board, who was brought in this seminar series to discuss things that were happening in the region. So in closing, I'd just like to say hello to everyone and also to congratulate CURA on its 20-year anniversary.